Stewart, and welcome to the VeryVera show. I'm so glad that you invited us into your home tonight. And Mary Ann, I'm so glad that you invited me into your home tonight.
Well, we're glad to have you.
Well, I was here just a few weeks ago, and you are getting ready for the upcoming Symphony Tour of Kitchens.
Right.
Is that correct? And we came out to your home and did a wonderful, what we call a site visit. We're on a field trip tonight on the VeryVera show. So excited to be out of my kitchen and into your kitchen. But that day, other than your fabulous art, Mary Ann, I said I was going to put something in the trunk of my car, but we had the best time just looking around. And then all of a sudden I start seeing these old family photographs of your grandfather in front of his grocery store / sandwich shop on Walton Way.
Right. They came over from Italy and opened a little sandwich shop on the corner of Walton Way and Chaffee Avenue. They had made their own, they were famous for their homemade Spumoni ice cream. And they had toasted sandwiches, and his children delivered it on bikes, and it was just...
I mean, this was like 1929.
In the 20s.
Oh my
Correct.
goodness. Well, it's just so wonderful, your heritage, and it had something to do with food, which was a complete surprise to me that day. So I got in the car and I thought, we need to do Spumoni and toasted sandwiches on the show. So that's what we've got in store for everybody tonight. We're going to do those, plus I'm going to bring a little bit of my family in, and we're going to give you my husband's salad dressing recipe.
Yum.
You're going to love this one, Mary Ann.
Okay.
So let's get started. We're going to start with ice cream first, because this, of course, has to freeze. And the Spumoni is not homemade, but it's handmade. Can we say that?
Sure, sure.
Because we're going to use ice cream that we got at the fresh market, but we're going to make it into the traditional Spumoni. So tonight we're doing strawberry, pistachio, almond, and chocolate. So I'm going to get you to get started kind of getting those a little soft. We took them out of the freezer and let them start getting a little bit melted in the bowl. And what we'll do tonight is we're going to do one layer at a time, and then every time we get back on the air, we'll add another layer. So I've got the strawberry just about where I want it to be. And this is just a regular meatloaf pan that we want to, you know, just take some saran wrap and put in the bottom, so that way everything will come out of the pan hopefully really well when we get ready to display this at the end.
Okay.
But I'm going to do just the first layer of the strawberry, and just the smell of that is fabulous, and that's just perfect. And what she's working on, the pistachio and the chocolate, will go back in the freezer along with this and will freeze. So now I've got that one ready, and you're just about ready for those to go in. So let me ask you a little bit about this kitchen tour. When you do this, and certainly your kitchen is fabulous. I love this big island in the middle.
We enjoy it.
The sink. And do you and your husband like to cook?
He does not. I do.
she just told on you.
Yeah, he does not. I like to cook. I love watch cooking shows. I collect recipe books. I enjoy it.
Well, this is going to be really good. So I want you to come back with us after the break. We're going to get all of this back in the freezer, and when we come back, we're going to get started on my husband's great salad dressing recipe that's made directly in the salad bowl, and we're going to introduce Mary Ann's wooden salad bowl to this whole treatment tonight. So come back with us in just a few minutes. Welcome back, and I'm with Mary Ann Maxwell in her beautiful kitchen. Mary Ann, I love this kitchen.
Thank you.
I'm so glad to be on a field trip tonight.
Oh, I'm glad
out of my regular kitchen and somewhere new, and it's just, this time of year is so wonderful. And I know the Augusta Symphony is getting ready for their annual tour of kitchens, and you are one of the kitchens.
We are. We're
well,
happy.
I can surely tell you that you need to come, because this is really fabulous in here. But while we were away during the break, we got started on the Spumoni, which was your grandfather's specialty and was delivered all around in Augusta. And we're kind of cheating a little bit, but just to kind of get that feel for what her family business was all about, we got the second layer added on to the Spumoni. So we started with the strawberry, then we did the pistachio, and now it's back in the freezer. And in the next segment, we'll do the last one. But now we're going to get to a little bit of my family business.
Okay.
And this is my husband's salad dressing recipe. And honestly, Marianne, he doesn't measure anything. So I had to make him make it so I could write down, because this is, y'all, this is his measuring spoon right here. So when he says a spoonful, I had to take a measuring spoon to see how many, and this actually is 3 tablespoons of liquid.
Okay.
So now I know that. So I'm gonna get started, and he always uses this Smart Balance oil. So it's the recipe that'll be on our website at nbc26.tv calls for 6 tablespoons of the oil, which is 2 of his favorite black flexible spoonfuls.
Okay.
So now I'm going to let you take over. And what we've actually done, we've got them in the order that they go. And Marianne, you tell them what we're adding while I chop up some green onions.
Okay, this is some balsamic vinegar.
And that's 2 tablespoons of that.
Okay, and this is is it apple cider?
It is.
The apple cider vinegar.
And that's 2 tablespoons of that.
A little sugar.
That's right, 2 tablespoons of that.
Some salt.
And it's 1 teaspoon of salt.
Okay, pepper. Then
½ teaspoon of pepper.
½ teaspoon. And mayonnaise.
And you know, I use Hellman's mayonnaise, Marianne. What do y'all use at your
Hellman's.
house? Okay, we're on the
Always,
same page.
always.
Y'all, people will stop me on the street and say, I can't believe you don't use Duke's mayonnaise
No,
or,
I don't.
you know, Kraft mayonnaise. It's like the mayonnaise war.
Always Hellman's.
Okay, for those of you in Augusta that remember the green jacket salad, that's the only other salad I know that uses this much spring onion. But that's the whole thing. So basically what she's doing now is just really just taking that spoon and just grinding all of that together. And I asked her tonight if she would mind, this is her bowl,
Right.
if you would mind if we actually made the dressing in the bowl, because my husband's mother's salad bowl reflects the fact that she always made the dressing. And when I
Right.
get to the last part, you're gonna see why it changes the bowl a little bit, but
Okay.
it's for a good thing.
All right.
Okay, so now we're gonna add in all of these wonderful
Oh, it
onions.
smells so good.
I know, doesn't it? And
Really
I
does.
use the green part as well.
Okay.
We've actually got one that's a little long, but that doesn't matter.
Okay.
Okay, and then the last thing is the blue cheese, and you want a really good blue cheese because, you know, it just has so much to do with the flavor. And we're gonna use 2 tablespoons, and I'm just gonna start crunching this up, and you're just gonna mash it in there with the bottom of
Okay.
that spoon.
All right.
All right, then the last thing you do right before you serve this, and honestly, if you make it in the morning and let it just marinate all the way through for the whole day, I'm gonna ask you to hold your spoon up just a minute. I just wanna do this quickly. You're gonna take 2 sharp knives and you just go through
Okay.
and what this does is it opens up those onions to really get that onion flavor throughout. And it is gonna make some marks in the bottom of your bowl, but now this can be your Jones's salad dressing bowl
Okay,
from here
all
on
right.
out. Okay, so when we come back from the break, she's gonna keep stirring that. We're gonna add another layer onto the spumoni, and then we're gonna get started on these toasted cheese sandwiches that Mary and I hope are gonna remind you of the good old granddaddy days. So come back with us after the break. Since you invite me into your home every Saturday, I want to invite you into my home tonight to share with you my secret for making the house winter fresh this time of year. A lot of us do things on top of the stove that will like boil and have a wonderful fragrance throughout the house, but this is actually a homemade potpourri that's dried that will get more fragrant if the house is humid, will get even better if it's near the stove when you're cooking. So let's try this. This is a dried lavender, about a cup. This is rosemary, dried rosemary that you probably have in the cabinet, along with bay leaves. We all know how fragrant and wonderful those are. And then how about some bath salts that you might steal from your own bathroom, lemongrass and peppermint. Just put all of this in a bowl, Stir it from time to time, and you'll get that wonderful aroma that'll make you feel happy. Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, you have missed so much already, but we're going to catch you right up. So while we were away during the break, I got the last layer of Spumoni together, and that was the chocolate layer. So as far as I'm concerned, we left the best for last. So we have a layer of strawberry, pistachio, and chocolate, and now that's ready to go in the freezer. And actually, Marianne, it can stay in the freezer for about a year. So if we don't eat it all today, you can sneak and have some more a little bit down the road. It's just a wonderful dessert to have in the freezer. If you don't have a dessert handy, that's something that you can always slice what you need and put the rest back. So now we're ready to get started on our toasted sandwiches. And as I said earlier, when I came to do the site inspection at Marianne's house, and it's so wonderful here, so warm and beautiful. Your artwork is fantastic. The kitchen is incredible. But I was so enthralled with the poster that everybody's looking at right now of your family business that was your grandfather's grocery store / sandwich and soda fountain.
Right.
So right there on Walton Way, you said at the corner of Walton Way and Chafee Avenue. And back in the 20s, he was noted for his toasted sandwiches and his Spumoni. So let's get started on a toasted sandwich that might have been on the menu there. So what have you got going? And we're going to turn that down a little bit.
This is my favorite sourdough bread from Fresh Market. And I've got some sopressata and provolone cheese kind of chopped up. I'm going to put a little layer of butter on the top that's going in the pan. And
all right, let's just move that butter around just a little bit.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Okay.
So that, we're going to get it toasted on one side, and then the nice thing about this is we're going to put the lid on it, and that's what makes all the cheese melt. So while you're doing that, I'm going to put together another one that is smoked Gouda and Munster cheese and fresh arugula, which I absolutely adore. So we're just going to take the bread, and this is a little bit thicker bread here for this particular sandwich. Both layers of cheese, and then I've got roasted red pepper, and you can buy this, you know, already cut, but I kind of like to cut it myself and get some variety in the depth of the peppers. All right. Then the recipe also uses fig preserves, and I love the Fresh Market brand on these. And it says to use as a dipping sauce, Marianne, but I never knew how much I love fig preserves, but I decided that I would rather have it actually in the sandwich. So I'm going to put a little bit there, and then just some arugula lettuce on the top, and then we're going to get those started. So now let's talk about how this comes in so handy for entertaining. You know, sandwiches are everybody's favorite. I mean, right now you can't go anywhere without all the wonderful cheeses and grilled cheese options for sandwiches and that sort of thing. And you really don't want to be hovering over the stove like you're doing now at the last minute on a cheese sandwich. But we made all of these sandwiches in advance, and then the last thing you have to do is toast them at the last minute. So okay, so we're going to turn that down.
Yeah, turn it down.
Turn it down just a little bit. Okay. All right, so all you have to do at the last minute is toast them. So I'm going to put a little bit of butter on the top of this bread because the butter was in the pan. And then if you've got a warming drawer or anything kind of like that, once you've made all the sandwiches, you can put aluminum foil over them and just put them into a warming drawer. So again, I want to open this up, put a little bit of the fig preserves. If you make them in advance, I wouldn't put the preserves on until right before you're ready to cook them. But you know, I gave a little tip earlier. You know, I'm noted for all my little tips, Marianne.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, whenever you're doing sandwiches, whether it's a party sandwich or something like that, if you'll spread a little thin coat of butter before you put your pimento cheese or your chicken salad, it almost acts as like a preservative to the bread so it doesn't soak through. So keep that in mind. So what Marianne has done over on this side is once you get one side toasted, put the lid on it, and then the heat melts all the cheese. So we're gonna keep getting toasted because I think you've invited 5 of your girlfriends over. So we're gonna get lunch all ready for them and then wait until you see her dining room. It is incredible. So come back with us in just a few minutes. Hey everybody. Hi. Doesn't this look great? Even if we did make it ourselves, Marianne, right? You're not supposed to brag if you're the hostess at the party. But we are again at Marianne Maxwell's this afternoon, and I'm so happy that everybody was able to join us. We've had the best time getting all of this together, and all of the recipes tonight stemmed from me seeing everything in your home about this wonderful grocery store / sandwich shop ice cream store. And Marianne's family, her grandfather started this store years and years ago on Walton Way, and they did toasted sandwiches and they did a wonderful spumoni. So this evening you guys are going to get to enjoy 2 of the sandwiches that we made. So while we were away during the break, I was able to get the salad tossed, and I like this salad actually a little wilted. So we like to toss it a little bit before you serve it. And then we got the spumoni finished. We took the sandwiches and cut them in half. The smaller sandwiches we cut on a diagonal. The other ones we cut straight down the middle so you have a little bit of variation. And then it plated up really pretty. Marianne's china is just so beautiful. Tell us about that, Marianne.
It's just Jalisco china, and it's great for luncheons and dinner.
Well, and it looks so beautiful in this room, the dark pewter, her placemats are so attractive, the silver, the crystal, everything. So just the way the plate presented was really well because we put the fig preserves on the plate with a little bit of the arugula, so it looks really nice. And you know, we want everybody to enjoy it. So y'all go ahead, and I'm gonna ask Marianne to just again talk to me for just a minute about the fact that your family got this business started. Did anybody else in your family ever work in the business, or when did it close?
Yeah, his sons, my dad and his brothers, one of the sons started Snappy's Hamburgers downtown on Broad Street. And
we all remember Snappy's Hamburgers, my goodness.
Yeah, and the other brother was a jeweler around the corner on 8th Street. So yeah, it continued until it got to me.
Oh well, but guess what? Tonight we've shown everybody that it can be done. So we've got some water that I'm gonna let you go ahead and sit down.
All right.
And then I'm gonna pour the water. I want y'all to go ahead and get started. And we talked about the beautiful place setting tonight and the way it looked before we sat down. And I love to tell the children when we do the cooking camp that how you place your silverware and you put your napkin in your lap. And I'm not going to stand here and do a manners class, but I do think it's important when you have people over. My favorite part of entertaining, and I think yours as well, is setting the table, because it's such a way to express yourself. The china that you've chosen, your beautiful crystal and silver, and the dessert we made tonight was something that has to be frozen. So I certainly want you to see this. We're going to take a few minutes and just look at the spumoni, how beautiful it turned out with the strawberry and the pistachio and the chocolate. And you can use whatever you want with that, any ice cream flavors. But speaking of china and presentation, how fabulous is this plate with that pistachio ice cream? I love it. Now, is this a family heirloom?
It is. It's from my husband's side of the family.
Oh my goodness, that is so beautiful. Well, Marianne, I cannot thank you enough for letting me come into your home tonight, and for all of you for joining us tonight. I want you to get together and enjoy some of these recipes. They're always available on our website at mbc26.tv. And if you ever have a question about a recipe, I want you to feel free to email me directly at vera@veryvera.com. Again, thank you for welcoming me into your home, and for the audience as well to enjoy your beautiful house. Be sure to go to the Tour of Kitchens, the Symphony Tour of Kitchens, which will be March the 14th. You'll see this kitchen and many others, as well as an outside kitchen. So you want to do that. But no matter what you do it in good taste, and be sure to join me again next Saturday for another episode of the VeryVera Show. Thank you.
Enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. Thank you.